It's up, man. Oh, I love that tune. It gets me jacked up every single time.
Yeah, dude, it's cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
My my intro's a little long, but
Yeah, what else?
got five. It's like we got five eyeballs watching this. Tell us who you are. Say hello. Hello to
Hello,
everybody out
hello.
there. Um, this one I promised to a friend of mine to do over a month ago, but me and Drake couldn't quite get our signals together and couldn't quite get it done. But now I'm finally doing it. I'm doing the original Rocky, and this one is dedicated to a friend of mine named, believe it or not, I know it's coincidence, named Adrian. She had a hard knock several months back, and it's a movie that meant a lot to her and someone that was very close to her. I don't want to get too much in detail, but so she lost someone really close to her, and it was a movie that meant a lot to them, probably because her name is Adrian. But it's dedicated to her and that person.
Very
All
cool.
right. The chat, we got your wife, man. She says hello, everyone. Hey, Vanessa, how you doing?
What's up?
Movie chatting
Shock
more
you
part
here.
two. How you doing?
Hello, hello.
June Glenn for the first time in
There
the
you
chat, I
go.
do believe, saying hi all. How you doing, June?
Hey, now.
Prism. Who's June Glenn? Prism. Welcome back. Didn't see you last week, man.
Hey,
Good to see you.
howdy, howdy.
Movie chat more. There's the wife. All right. So how's it been going, man?
It's been going pretty good. I've been busy. Been busy. I'm always doing something. I'm either working or
Yeah.
doing this or whatever.
What do you got going on your channel these days? I don't have too much. I got too much flair. I got too much of a.
Well,
Um,
this week actually is Polonia week, so I'm doing a bunch of reviews on the Polonia Brothers movies all week long. I got one dropping every single day this week.
wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this with me. If you got time, maybe we could do part two next week.
Hey,
You can squeeze me in.
I'm always down for some Rocky, man. I'm always down. It's one of my all-time favorite series. Um, I absolutely love all of them, even the ones that I don't really care for. I still love them.
Yeah, yeah. Rocky holds a special place, man, in a lot of people's hearts, really. Um, and I'm really hoping to do it justice. I know the movie pretty well. I mean, more than pretty well, very well. But when you go to do it live, you know what I mean? Prism.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
that's cool, Prism.
oh
We
yeah.
chat more part two says I think Rocky is amazing. I love the franchise more than I can describe. My favorite is part two. That's our favorite too, as a matter of fact. But these are real close.
Yeah, I mean, it's really something. I kind of go back and forth between one and two. Like they're just
Jim
this.
Glenn says Al's hero as a child.
Rocky was one of my heroes. Yeah,
No,
indeed he was.
me too. I don't know how many fights I had by myself. I had a king size bed, and I put water in my mouth, and I would act like I was getting punched. And when I get punched, the water would fly out, and it was blood. You know what I mean? So I was, I'd be
Nice.
able to get up. Of course, I was Rocky, right? So it's like
Well, of course, yeah.
I was coming back like, "Hey, you come and get it again,"
That was pretty good, man.
Hey, what you doing? Yeah.
There you go. I love it. I love it. That's
Still a
awesome.
bit roll call for anybody that doesn't know. Rocky was made in 1976. It was directed by John G. Avildsen. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he also did Karate Kid. First Karate Kid. Um, it stars Sylvester Stallone as Rocky Robert Balboa. His name is Robert, actually.
Mhm.
You got Talia Shire as Adrian Panino. Burt Young is Paulie Panino. Paulie is Adrian's brother. He's got a lot of problems. He's a loud guy, good guy, but loud guy. He's got a little bit of a drinking problem. Of course, you talk about loud guys. We got Burgess Meredith, Mickey Goldmill, which is his manager, and very very important character. Apollo Creed is Carl Weathers, which will be the antagonist for this particular movie. Joe Spinell. Anybody who recognizes that name knows that he's the maniac. He plays
Maniac.
Tony Gazzo, which is a gangster and a loan shark. Tony Burton as Tony Duke Ebbers, which is Apollo's manager slash manager slash trainer. slash dad, basically. He took in Apollo when Apollo was, you know, uh, pretty much on his own, and Tony got him and raised him, taught him to fight. And then you got Butkus Stallone as Butkus.
Gotta love Butkus, bro.
Actually, Stallone's dog.
Yep, he's a real life dog. That's right.
Let me see. Hey, Bones in the chat.
Bones.
What's up, Bones?
Bonesy.
Here's my fiance. Hey, baby, how you doing? We chatting more. Says, what did you think of the Sly Rocky 4 recut? I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen it yet either. I want to, and I've read about it, so I kind of know what happens. But
speaking of Adrian, there's Adrian. I dedicated this to you. I don't know if you heard it, but I know you took quite a knock a while back, and you told me how much this meant to you and that person, Adrian. So I'm dedicating this dive into the original Rocky to you.
There you go.
T Betty, is that the same Betty?
Yep, that's my aunt, T Betty.
How you doing?
In fact, she's on she's on the review I dropped today. T Betty is.
Everybody saying hello, everybody. Very cool, very cool. Yes, love to see that. Yep, love Butkus, absolutely.
Butkus is the man.
We had Aquatic Stink. Thanks for joining, Chilihead.
Hey,
appreciate it, man. Hold on. That's the rock character, my younger brother, Paulie. Yeah, see? It's crazy, isn't it?
It's perfect, man. It's perfect.
No problem at all, Adrian. No problem at all. I promise you I'll do this. I'm gonna do my best to make you proud, make everybody proud. We're gonna kick some ass tonight. Check out the Bret Hart shirt. Love that. I got the Shining. He's got the Bret Hart. All right. Kicking around my goddamn camera. All right. Got real cold there. It's funny how this movie starts out, man, because you got him fighting in that hole and it's smoky and all this kind of stuff. And he doesn't really look like the kind of fighter that's going to be a hero in this movie. You know what I mean? He's sloppy. He can't breathe. He smokes cigarettes. He's drinking beer. People outside the ring are calling him a loser, and all this kind of stuff. And he really kind of looks like one until he gets pissed off when Spider Rico headbutts. Rico headbutts him and he goes completely nuts and breaks the rules and beats the guy all the way down to where he's on his knees, beating his ass down at the bottom row.
Yep.
Yeah, he wins the fight. Gets out, like I said, now he's drinking beer, taking a drag off the cigarette. This woman's still sitting there going, hey, you're a loser. No, she calls him a bum. You're a bum. Bum. You know that? You're a bum.
We start off like he's just down and out like bum. That's exactly how we are introduced to Rocky.
Right. Like I say, he fights like a bum too until he gets pissed and he beats the hell out of it.
Then he just bam, he's a punching machine.
And then even the fight's over, he goes back there and the guy that's all bruised up and beat up that he beat, the only thing he says to him, he says, "You really got lucky tonight." Which I translated in, "You really got lucky tonight." And when he tells him that, Rocky's like, so it's like, you're really not quite sure what to think of him, when you first see it. He got pissed and beat the guy, and then the guy tells him he really got lucky, which tells me, he gets a winner's share of the money, which is like $40 once they cut everything out of it.
Yep.
Then he leaves, he's walking home, he's stopping by the pet store, he's whistling at the dogs and all that. Passes the guy singing on the corner. That's where we hear the iconic song "Take Me Back." Take me back. Which is a kick-ass. That song just as iconic as the show, practically. It's in the first 3, and then goes back in 5.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, dude, that song that's an amazing song.
And it is, and if people don't know, well, I guess I could leave the you're what to do the I'll just leave the trivia to you on who sings that song. He passes all that by. the next day, well, he goes home and you can see, you know what I mean, that he's just really not very happy. He's looking at pictures of himself. He's looking at pictures of his parents. His apartment's not all that great. And, you know, he starts talking to himself in the mirror about the, you know, this and that. And he just,
Like turtle food.
just get the idea that he's really, really a depressed person, man.
Yeah.
The next day, we find out that he's not only a boxer that fights for a little bit of money and wins if he's lucky, because he doesn't seem to have a lot of skill at this point. We also find out that he's strong arm for a loan shark.
Yep.
He's chasing a guy down over a couple $100. Tells him, you know, that he's told to break his thumb. He's saying, please don't break the thumb. I got to work. And he's, you know, and then you find out, you see that Rocky has some heart.
Yep. That's the first time you see it. You're like, okay, so this guy's really not a bad guy.
Yeah, because he can't break the guy's thumb, even though he was told directly. Bob only gives him $130. He's offering him a coat. He won't even take the guy's coat because he don't want the guy to get cold.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and then he won't break the thumb. The guy saying, well, we can act like he, you know, you should have planned ahead. You know that? You should have planned ahead.
Yeah.
You want to take it from here for a minute?
Sure. And I do want to mention too, when he was at his apartment looking in the mirror and all that stuff, we also meet Cuff and Link, his turtles.
Oh, right. Cuff and Link. And don't forget about his fish Moby Dick.
And his goldfish Moby Dick. That's right. But I have a little interesting piece of trivia for you. John G. Avildsen, the director, actually had no desire to do this movie.
Right.
But on the third page of the script, he saw the scene with Rocky talking to Cuff and Link, and that made him want to do the movie.
Yeah. And he didn't want to hire Stallone either. You know, they didn't want to hire Stallone, but he would not sell the script. He would not sell the movie to anybody unless he was playing the lead role. So, you know what I mean? I mean, can you imagine Rocky with someone else?
No, absolutely not. Not at all. I know a couple people were interested in it, like Robert Redford and a couple other like.
Oh, there was all kinds of people, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, no, I cannot see Robert Redford as Rocky. Not at all, dude. Just no.
It would have rubbed it. Movie chat Moore says, is that a Bret Hart tee?
Yep.
Katie says hello.
I do.
Says Aquatics. She's saying hello. Just saying hello. Or hello. Hello to everybody. Hi, hello. Sweet right on. Oh yeah. Don't drink that piss before a fight. It's no good for you. Better advice than women weak in legs. Yeah, we'll get to that.
We're gonna get to that, don't worry.
You got two kinds of love.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
You all know. Yeah.
The music, just the music in general, in all the Rocky movies is just so iconic and so memorable. It's insane.
Yeah.
I should have broke your thumb. That's right.
Right. Yeah, I wish they would kept Adrian too, man. But her and Talia Shire and Stallone talked about it, and they decided that it might go over better if he had suffered even more loss. You know what I mean? To set up the story. That's why they decided to take her out. Which if that really hurt me. I mean, it hurt me when I seen she died. You know what I mean? That's how much I was into these. You know?
Yeah, that's my least favorite Rocky movie. Is the one where Adrian's dead.
Music is inspirational, absolutely.
Yep.
All right. We're at should have broke your thumb.
Should have broke your thumb.
Well, no, actually, we're not at should have broke your thumb.
We're not quite there yet. Yeah, we're not quite there yet.
We're at you should have planned ahead.
Yeah, should have planned ahead. Then he gets picked up by Gazzo, who's the loan shark.
Right.
And his driver, and he does not. Rocky, him and the driver do not get along at all.
Oh, this guy's a dick, man.
Yeah, he's a total dick. And so Gazzo fusses at Rocky for not breaking the dude's thumbs. And let me see, where am I at? And so Rocky and the driver kind of get into it. I forget the driver's name, but so at the end of this little conversation, the driver kind of leans over and he says, "So long, meatbag." And then that's when Rocky goes, "I should have broke your thumb."
Yeah.
Did
you get the license plate? License plate of what? The truck that ran over your face. Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely some choice lines. Well, there's choice lines throughout the entire series, but there's some really good lines here in this movie.
Right.
So then Rocky goes to Mickey's gym, and he discovers that his locker has been taken by Dipper,
Yes.
by freaking
Yes.
Dipper, man.
He had that locker for 6 years. Yeah.
Had that locker for 6 years, man. So Mickey just basically tells him that Dipper's up and coming, and he's going places you're not, kind of deal.
Yeah. Tells him he should retire and all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of this whole thing. And Mickey actually calls Rocky a tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dipper's a contender. You know what you are? What? You're a tomato. A tomato. Yeah. Say so. I run gym here, not a goddamn soup kitchen.
And then he says, Mickey says, "You got heart, but you fight like an ape."
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, which is really telling, because we've kind of seen it. We've seen that in the beginning of the movie. He really does. Like that's yeah. So that's actually fairly accurate.
But his disappointment in him kind of tells you, kind of gives you an idea that he could have kind of, you know what I mean? You can see he's disappointed in him. He could have kind of meant something. You can see that Mickey's the cruelness to him may come really the reason, you know?
Oh yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah, especially in this one. So then, and also Mickey mentions that Rocky's never had his nose busted.
Yeah.
Fight. He's had 40-something fights and he's never had his nose broken.
Very, very proud of that. Yeah, he mentions that several times.
Very, very proud of that. Yeah. So then in the next scene, we cut to Rocky visiting Adrian again at the pet store, and this is where we meet Buckus. Buckus is the kind of he's a pet, I guess, for adoption or whatever in the store. So yeah. So now Rocky leaves because they're closing. So Rocky leaves and goes down to the bar, and he picks up a drunk off of the street. And of course, I'm sure you know who the drunk is, right? Mr. Lloyd Kaufman of Trauma fame.
Is it?
Yes,
awesome.
It is. Yeah,
that is awesome.
That is the creator of the Toxic Avenger.
I never noticed that. I didn't know that. Cool.
Is the drunk dude that he puts over his shoulder and brings into the bar. That's Lloyd Kaufman.
That's very cool, man.
Yep. And who I've also met. I met Lloyd Kaufman. Hell of a nice guy.
That's cool, man.
He talked to me for like 5 minutes. Great dude. Let's see. So he's chilling in the bar, and he starts looking for a guy named Paulie. And Paulie's in the bathroom trying to comb his hair in this little sliver of a mirror. Somebody broke the freaking mirror, And so we find out that Paulie is Adrian's sister. And Paulie keeps asking Rocky about working for Gazzo. And Rocky just kind of keeps blowing him off. He's like, "Man, you don't really want to work. You don't really want to work for this guy. Just kind of leave it alone."
Yeah.
So then Paulie leaves, and then Rocky sees on the TV in the bar, he sees Apollo Creed. This is the first time we see Apollo Creed. It's like I don't know if it's like a news piece or something, but anyway, he's walking and talking, the way Apollo Creed is, and this is one of my favorite lines in the whole movie. Apollo starts talking about stay in school, kids. You don't want to be an athlete. And then he's like, be a thinker, not a stinker.
Yeah. Sport. Just stay away from sports. Sports make you grunt and smell. Be a thinker, not a stinker.
It's dude, it's great. I love it. That's one of my favorite lines ever. I love it. It's just and Carl Weathers just nails Apollo Creed. Like he's the perfect Apollo Creed.
The inspiration for Apollo Creed was actually Muhammad Ali and like one or two other people, but mainly Muhammad Ali, with how loud he was and how much he ran his
Yep.
mouth. Yeah, but
And
at the same time, he's a champion that can back it up. He's never been past the ninth round. So yeah,
yeah. So he's a legit badass, like no
yeah.
question. And so and he played he does the cockiness and everything. He plays it just so perfectly.
Carl Weathers, I think deserved a nomination as well.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, I don't how he didn't is a crime. It really is.
Almost everybody in the movie, you know what I mean? It's all great, perfect performances throughout the whole thing.
It really is. Everybody's absolutely perfect in the part. I wouldn't have recast not one person in this movie. Not
No
one.
way. Even the Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah, exactly.
all the way down to the Lloyd Kaufman. All the way down to the bum outside the bar.
Yep.
He shows that's kindness. He brings him in and puts him in a seat rather than leave him out there in the cold. There's another sign of kindness. We're seeing that Rocky really is a great guy.
Yeah. Despite the rough exterior and just
yeah.
So yeah, there you go. So yeah, did you want to pick it up? Or you want me to keep going?
Oh, that's up to you, man. I'll go ahead and jump in. Before he leaves the bar, he sits there and talks to the bartender. The bartender, while the interview, while Creed's going on, he's running his mouth about Creed, and he's talking about the champions are the same, and he's really actually making some racist comments, some unnecessary comments. It pisses Rocky off, he's basically like, this guy's heavyweight champion of the world. He took his shot, became heavyweight champion of the world. Whatever shots did you take? The bartender says back to Rocky. He was like, "Hey, I run a business here. I don't need to take no shots. You're unhappy with your life. That's fine, but I don't need to take no shots." Rocky takes the money, puts it down. He says, "Stick this up your business," and turns around and leaves. And the guy's, "Oh, you want me to take a shot? I'll take a shot." So he takes a shot of whiskey. Rocky leaves. He's walking home. I assume he's going home. And that's when we meet Little Marie. It's the only time we see Little Marie in the movie, but we get the idea that she's the little sister friend of someone that Rocky knows, and he's known her for years. She's even little. Well, she's hanging out with a bunch of street people and cussing and smoking and doing a lot of things that a girl that age shouldn't be doing. So Rocky pulls her away from there. They're all mouthing off of Rocky. She's mouthing off of Rocky. He basically tells her, you know what I mean? You don't want to smoke and act like that because you're ruining your reputation. That conversation is so hilarious.
And it's like rapid fire too.
Yeah, he's like, if you hang out with smart people, you have smart friends. If you hang out with yo-yo people, you get yo-yo friends. And I'm gonna say a dirty word here. I'm gonna whore. So if you act like a whore, you'll be looked at like what? And she said, but I'm not a whore. He said, that don't matter if you're a whore. If you hang around, you'll be seen that way. Later on in the future, people are like, "Hey, do you remember Little Marie?" No. Who's that? They're like, "Oh, that's a little whore that hung out down by the Atomic Hoagie shop." Oh, yeah. Now I remember her. They don't remember you. They remember the rep.
Remember the rep. That's right.
So she simmers down. She's walking with him. They're having a decent conversation. He gets her to her door. He's on the door. She goes up the door, turns around and says, "Hey, Rocky." He's like, "What?" And she says, "Screw you, creepo."
Screw you, creepo.
Goes in the house, and you can just see the sadness. Not to mention the music, but they play it sad. But you can just see that his feelings are really hurt really badly.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to do something good, and she just didn't appreciate it. Maybe she'd been hanging around with those people a little too long. But he turns around and starts bouncing his ball. That's something he does all the time. Walks around, bouncing his ball, and is like, who are you to give advice, creepo? Turns around and leaves. Okay, now the next scene we meet Apollo Creed. We'd seen him on the TV, but now we're actually meeting him. The person he was supposed to fight was a dude named Mac Lee Green, but he broke his hand or something like that, and he can't fight. They're bitching about it because this fight is set up for the bicentennial for January 1st for the 200th anniversary of America.
Yep.
So now they're trying to find another fighter. They're arguing they don't know how to figure it out. They don't know what to do. Apollo comes up with an idea. How about I give a local guy, because the fight's going to be right there, a local Philadelphia guy that no one's ever heard of, like Sean Titan. You know, they talk to her, they're like, that's a great idea. So obviously it's leaning into something. It doesn't say anything about it yet. Then we switch off to Rocky. Galzo's dropping him off because the night before when he talked to Paulie and Paulie was in there bitching about the mirror, Paulie had mentioned coming over for Thanksgiving dinner the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Come over in the corner and have some bird. So he's okay, and then that way he can try to hook up and get Rocky with Adrian because Adrian don't say nothing. Rocky likes Adrian. He's really into her. He's trying to go out with her. He said, "It's okay. Go on, come on, have some bird, and I'll try to hook you and Adrian up." Basically, is what it said. So Galzo was asking him about it. He's like, how do you know that? Galzo's like, hey, I hear things. Well, the driver starts fucking with Rocky again. You know, he's still being a dick. He's like, I hear she's retarded. Rocky's like, no, she's not retarded. She's just shy. And he's like, take her to the zoo. You know, he's like, well, why? He said, I heard retards like the zoo. Well, they argue and all this kind of stuff. Galzo hands Rocky $50 and says, have a nice time. You know, you and Adrian have a nice time. You want to take a beer for a minute?
Sure. Yeah. So, to me, Gazzo is a really interesting character in these first
great
two.
actor, no matter what he does, man.
Oh well, yeah. Joe Spinell was freaking amazing, but like he's like a bad dude, but he kind of has a heart too. Like it's kind of
he's a good guy, and he likes Rocky.
He does. He likes Rocky and appreciates Rocky. So it's I don't know. I just find the dynamic kind of interesting, personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then we cut back to Apollo looking through pages and pages of boxers that they have like at the promoter's place.
Absolutely.
And he stops on Rocky, and he sees Rocky's nickname, the Italian Stallion, and that's what grabs him immediately. He was like, Apollo Creed versus the Italian Stallion.
Because Italians discovered America.
Yeah, because an Italian discovered in America, right? So and then the line that I love that he says, he's like, Apollo Creed versus the Italian Stallion. Sounds like a damn monster movie.
Yeah.
And
he's just thinking about getting the people in there, making the money, having a good show. He's not expecting anything else. He expected, you know, and remember Tony's like, he's a southpaw. Don't you mess around with southpaws. Yeah, I'll drop him in 3.
Yeah, drop him in 3. That's right. Yeah, the Italian Stallion. That's right. And he keeps saying Italian Stallion.
Yeah.
Always got a kick out of that. But then there's one little scene that happens right after this where Rocky's going down the street and he actually sees Marie one more time, and she's back hanging out with the bad crowd.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. So
this time he doesn't even bother with it.
Yeah, he doesn't bother with it. He just goes on his way and ends up at Paulie's place. And so Paulie brings Rocky over for dinner, and then apparently no one told Adrian that Rocky was coming.
Right.
So this whole time Rocky thought he was going to go on a date or something, or something, and then Adrian's like, no, this is not what I signed up for, blah blah blah. Paulie, why'd you bring him here, kind of thing. And Paulie and Adrian, man, they clash so much in this movie.
They love each other, but the whole thing is he's such a hard ass. He doesn't know how to talk soft to people. He doesn't know how to go, hey, this is what you should do. And then he goes, stop hanging around here like a freaking spider. You know what I mean? He's just hard ass no matter what he does. Yeah.
And like Eric just said, it's like, it is interesting to see how Paulie eventually becomes the comic relief later on in the movies, because in this one he is such an asshole.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely interesting how his character completely changed over the course of a couple of movies.
It's very smart. We got some people that know Rocky just like we do, man. This is cool as fuck. Dude.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yep. It's a nice guy. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, there's so many choice lines in this movie. It's ridiculous.
People are just going crazy on the lines and stuff. See, Rocky is just so loved, man. It's just such a special movie.
It is. It is. It is.
I love this part coming up, man.
Let's see. So yeah. So Adrian's not ready, right? So she and she's like, I got a turkey in the oven, the whole deal.
Yeah.
And then Paula's like, oh, really? He's like, you got a turkey in the oven, huh? So he takes the turkey out of the oven.
Throws it out the black looking door.
And he just hums it out the freaking door into the alley.
That fucks Adrian up. She's probably spent all day making that turkey, man.
Oh man, it's like such a dick move.
Yeah, definitely a dick move.
Oh man, but it's so funny. It's one of the funniest parts in the whole movie, and I always laugh every time. I don't know why, but it cracks me up, dude.
Well, Burt Young was fantastic.
Oh man, yeah. Burt Young doesn't get enough credit at all for the Rocky movies at all.
Joe Horton, hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, John?
We also got John Steele in here. How you doing, Steele?
What's happening? So Adrian goes and locks herself up in her room, and so Rocky's like, man, I'm just gonna leave. You know what I'm saying? Mm. He's like, this ain't cool. So he's going to leave, and then Paulie's like, no, go talk to her.
Right.
He's like, man, I won't talk to her, not like this, kind of thing. So then Rocky goes and he stands next to the door, and he starts talking, and it's like it's so awkward. He's like, hey, I'm talking to this door, and kind of thing. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But after a couple minutes, Adrian opens the door and she's ready to go out.
Yeah, she's ready. She got the hat on. She got several coats. She got the glasses. She's
like, man, let me get the hell up out of here. Is what she was saying. Get away from this crazy ass brother of mine.
Right. She says, fucking. Well, it's part of what Rocky says too, man. He goes to the door and he goes, I'd really like you to go with me, and it's Thanksgiving, and I've got nobody to spend it with, and all this kind of stuff. And you really feel bad, man. You know what I mean? And she did too. Plus, she liked him secretly. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. So it was like the perfect storm here.
Right.
So let's see. So of course Rocky ends up. It's Thanksgiving. Everything's pretty much closed. So he ends up taking Adrian to the ice skating rink because he on his way out he asked Paulie, what does she like to do? Ice skating. So he's like, all right, I'll go to the ice skating rink. So he takes her there, and the guy there's a guy on a Zamboni smoothing out the ice.
Yeah.
And
they're closed up.
They're all closed up. So I don't even know how they walked in. I guess they didn't lock the door. I don't know.
Not yet. He got there just in time, man.
Yeah. And so he was like, hey, can we get on the ice for a couple minutes, blah blah blah. And anyway, he ends up making a deal with the guy, the Zamboni guy. He's like, I gave you 10 minutes for $10. So
that was a sweet move by Rocky, man. That was a definitely sweet winning move by Rocky. He definitely earned some points on that one.
Oh yeah, big time. So then they start skating. Well, she starts skating. Rocky doesn't skate.
Nothing to imagine.
So he's like he's on the ice and his shoes just kind of scuttling along.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. And so they start talking. Adrian and Rocky start talking, and while they're talking, the whole time the Zamboni guy's doing a countdown: 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 7.
That's the fastest 10 minutes I've ever seen, man.
Dude, I may say this 10 minutes was about 3.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's this nice little conversation between Rocky and Adrian, and Adrian at one point asks him, "Why do you want to fight?"
Yeah.
And Rocky has, I think, the most interesting answer to this. He's like, "Because I can't sing or dance."
Yeah. Yeah.
he was like, I'm not an entertainer. I'm a big tough rough, dude.
Yeah.
That's what I
Talks
do.
about his nose and all the fights. He's proud of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So a second mention of his nose never being broken, and
Yeah.
the fact that he's proud of it. So you know something's gonna happen later. It's too many times already.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's had he says he had 64 fights and never broke his nose once. Yep. And so after their little party on the ice skating rink, Rocky invites Adrian to come over to his apartment. And yeah, she's kind of hesitant at first, and then he is real sly, you know, and I guess pun intended here.
Yeah.
Because he like opens the door and he's like sticking his head out. It's like this real cute moment kind of thing, and it's you know it's really like, and she of course decides to go in.
Yeah.
And,
I gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta go too. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Man, you know, Rocky really reminds me of a lot of people I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like just yeah, man. So when Adrian gets,
But they're
gets
coming
there,
together. You know what I mean? They're coming together.
yeah, and
Feel it.
they couldn't be more opposite, right? Rocky and Adrian cannot be more opposite.
Right.
He's this rough and tumble boxer. She's this like meek, very quiet pet store worker. You know what I mean? Like they can't be more opposite.
Yeah.
But it works. It totally works. And actually, there's a line later that describes it even better.
I mean, you've known Rocky likes her, but now you're finally starting to get the idea that she might like him too. You know what I mean? This mutual.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so there might be a little something here. So
You're right.
All right. So when they get in there, Adrian asks for a phone, and Rocky's like, I don't have a phone, and she's like, how do you call people? He's like, oh, who you want to call? I'll call him for you. Like, I want to call Paulie, let him know where I'm at. He's like, oh, all right. So he goes over to the window, he opens it up, and he goes, hey, yo, Paulie, your sister's with me. I'll call you later.
Hey, yo, Paulie, your sister with me. I'll call you back later. See ya.
I love that scene too, man. It's so good. Oh man, I'm just smiling just thinking about it.
I've said that line at least 1,000 times. I mean, that's what I practiced on when I was younger. I did it quite well, I must say.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Bad approves. Oh man, and so Adrian's still kind of trepidatious, you know, and she's like, you know, but Rocky's kind of starts putting the moves on her a little bit, and then they actually end up kissing, very passionately, by the way. And then it cuts to the next scene.
Yeah.
However, yes. I do have some trivia on that scene. Apparently, during most of the filming of this movie, Talia Shire had the flu. So when this scene came up, she was kind of hesitant to do this scene because she didn't want to get Sylvester Stallone sick.
Right.
So like her like kind of moving around, kind of avoiding his kisses and stuff, like that was kind of improv, like on the set.
Yeah.
And then of course John G. Avildsen was like, well, this is perfect. I'm just gonna keep it.
It worked so well, yeah, because it fits so well with her character, man. You know.
Oh yeah.
It like she was avoiding because of shyness, and then finally gave in because she couldn't help it. You know what I mean? She was happy. Yeah. So it worked so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, it worked, and you can tell the chemistry was there, and you can just tell that these two are into each other.
Right. Well, and that night and that kiss is the end of the old Adrian. Basically, that was the death of that Adrian, because the next Adrian we see, she's still Adrian, but she's lost that really shy demeanor. She's lost the glasses. She's not always wearing the hat. Rocky brought her out of her shell.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. This is definitely that scene, the big transition scene for Adrian, because like I said in the beginning, she was kind of this nerdy, meek, kind of librarian type, I guess you would say.
Love you too, son.
And now she's more. Um, I hesitate to say the word normal, but she's more, she's a little more fashionable, and she's a little more
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
I guess
She was reborn almost, man.
yeah, yeah, dude, pretty much. Yeah, yep. All right, you wanna take it from here for a little bit?
Sure. Then it goes to the next day, and Rocky goes to the gym, and he walks in, and Mickey tells him, "Hey, Miles Juergens was looking for you. They're looking for sparring partners for Apollo Creed." This is what he's assuming because he's wanting Rocky to get a hold of him. He's a big time promoter, and he's promoting fight for Creed. So they assume they don't think he's gonna be fighting him. They just think he needs sparring partners. They're looking for sparring partners for Miles Juergens, and so Rocky repeats that, and Mickey yells at him. He's like, "I said that before, you dumb dago." He's like, "I've been coming here for 6 years. 6 years you've been sticking to me. I don't know how come." He's like, "No, you don't want to know." Rocky's like, "Yeah, I want to know." He said, "You don't want to know." He goes, "Yeah, I want to know how come." He said, "Because you have the talent to become a good fighter. Instead of that, you became a leg breaker for a cheap loan shark."
A second-rate loan shark. Yeah.
Yeah, for a second-rate loan shark. And it's a living, and Mickey says it's a waste of life. So now, that's the key, man. You're getting the idea now. You know why you understand why Mickey is so shitty with him. Why he's so, what I mean? Why he's so hard on him. Because he feels like he wasted his chance, his prime. So anyway, that ends. Rocky goes to the promoters for Miles Juergens. He comes, sits down. I think it's funny when he hands the receptionist or the secretary the card. And she's like, "Oh yeah, we're expecting you, Rocky." And he's like, "Oh, you got that card back." He takes it. He wants to keep that card. For memento. He doesn't understand what he's going to be doing here soon. Yeah. He goes in and sits down and talks to this guy, and the guy's like, Rocky's like, "Hey, I would love to be a sparring partner for Creed. I wouldn't take no 2 shots or nothing like that." And he's like, "Oh well, yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't." He's like, "You don't understand me, Rocky. Would you be interested in fighting Apollo Creed for the heavyweight championship of the world?" Rocky's like, "No." Because he's like, "Why? You got a chance here." And Rocky's like, "No, I'm just a ham and egger. Just a club fighter. It really wouldn't be such a good fight." Basically, he just doesn't feel like he's in the same league, the same class. He doesn't feel like he deserves to be there. Which really, when you come right down to it, he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't deserve that shot, but he's getting it. It shows that sometimes in life, even the lower people, they get their chance. And that's pretty much what he tells him. You can't pass this up. This is the only time it's going to come. The only chance you're ever going to get. So you don't hear his answer, but when it switches, you know what he gave him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, he just doesn't feel like that he deserves it. He feels like the Apollo's in a whole other class. Then he goes to a press conference, and they're basically making a clown out of him, talking about how he's Italian, and if he can't fight, I bet he can cook, all this kind of stuff. And it embarrasses him, and you could tell it does. But he tells Paulie, Paulie's bitch, and saying, he punched his lungs out, and all this kind of stuff. He's like, "No, it don't bother me." Well, when he goes to leave, he stops outside there, and it's just him and Adrian. And he tells her, he says, "I told you all that stuff didn't bother me." She's like, "Yeah," and he said, "Well, it did." And you could tell he was hanging his head. That was live TV, and they were making,
Yeah, they're like making a mockery of him, and it wasn't cool,
Yeah, but when they was in there, Paulie asked him, basically, "You think you got a chance at this?" And I love how Adrian is because she compares it to those, all these different people that look like they didn't have a chance. So you see that she really believes in him.
Yeah.
Next you see him meeting Gazzo somewhere. I'm not sure where they were. But you see Gazzo believes in him too. Gazzo hands him some money for training, takes a cigarette out of his mouth, tells him to stop doing that. And it gives him like $200 and some for his training.
Yeah. It's in front of the Philly cheesecake place.
Is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I knew it was some kind of a food place. Well, when Rocky gets home, he hears a knock at the door, and it's Mickey. Mickey's never been there before. He's never come. The last words they had were hard. And it lets him know that he wants to be his manager. Well, this pisses Rocky off bad. One of the best parts of the whole movie, man, in my opinion. Because Rocky, he pretty much walks him off and tells him, he's like, you got moves like Rocky Marciano. You got heart like he did. Rocky's like, yeah, but I got heart, but I don't have a locker do on me. He goes to the bathroom, pretty much saying, I'm done with you. He ignores him, goes in there. Mickey leaves. When Rocky comes out is when he goes into that rant, man. It's huge rant. Talking about the legs ain't working. Do you want to be ringside and see it? 6 years, you never want to be my manager, and which really shows Mickey in a bad light, in my opinion. He had nothing to do with him. He was so shitty with him, and all of a sudden, when he's going to shot the title, now he wants to be his manager. So you can see where Rocky's coming from, man. I mean, I'd be pissed too.
Oh yeah, I totally sympathize with Rocky in this instance. However, once you start thinking about it,
that's right, it stinks. The whole place stinks.
The whole place stinks. Yeah, the whole thing. But the reason, like I said, the reason Mickey was treating him so bad was because Rocky didn't take advantage of anything, and he's not living up to his potential.
Right.
And so Mickey got mad at that. Basically, he's like, dude, you could have been something.
Treated him like shit, though, man. You know what I mean? For 6 years, and all of a sudden he gets shot down. Now he's real sweet.
But in this world though, like that's probably what they do. That's probably fairly accurate.
But Rocky being true to himself and true to his character, when Mickey leaves, you see he throws his little tantrum, he throws his rant, but then he goes and chases down Mickey because he knows he needs his help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it never tells what they said there, but of course Rocky agrees to it. He's probably apologizing for yelling at him because that's just Rocky's character, man. That's just who he is. And
they shake hands, and it's all good.
So you get the idea that he's his manager now. Well, the next morning he goes for his first big run. He runs. I'm not sure exactly how far he runs, but it seems like it's quite a ways, and he barely makes it up the famous stairs. Instead of running back, he limps back and stops in where Paulie works there at the meat packing plant. And Paulie is completely inappropriate, asking about if he had sex with his sister and all this kind of stuff. They get to an argument, and then you get the famous meat punching scene. And he just tears the shit out of this piece of, I think it's beef hanging there.
Yeah.
And Paulie gets nice and shuts up awful quick. You know what I mean? Because it's the point where Rocky has to punch that because he wants to punch Paulie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He has to hit something. He is so fucking pissed.
Yeah. Paulie's being such an ass here too, man. Like it's like, dude.
He gets him so pissed that when Rocky's done and Rocky goes back and to Paulie and Adrian's place and he sits there, he's still shitty. He's actually for the first and only time kind of shitty with Adrian for a minute. He eats the fast food. And then he ends up apologizing. So it's like let me see. Next he's training with Mickey. And of course, that's when girls are coming in trying to get his autograph and all that kind of stuff. He chases them away, get your little chicken asses out of here. And then he brings up Adrian. He said, you stay away from that pet shop name. Women weaken legs.
Weaken legs, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, we got the chat here.
Who are running Converse?
Yeah,
that's what I thought too, actually. I was like, Converse. Yeah.
Definitely. Who wouldn't try that run wearing Converse? He'd probably run that meat. Absolutely. He beat the fucking shit out of that meat. Just like Paulie said, be careful, you're breaking the ribs. Breaking the ribs.
Breaking the ribs, yeah. Well, okay, so I have a funny story about the meat punching scene. Apparently, during the next meat punching scene, because there's another one coming up. Apparently, Sylvester Stallone was hitting the meat and stuff so hard that it actually flattened his knuckles. That's what I read, and apparently his knuckles are still flat to this day.
Yeah.
So I was like, how freaking hard were you hitting that knee, dude?
He was pissed, man. Paulie's great. Paulie carries me. He's just so loud and so irritating. And when he drinks, he's almost intolerable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's one of those drunks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, when he leaves there, I assume it's the same when he leaves there. He's walking home. He gets home, and waiting for him on the steps is Adrian and Buck. Oh yeah, Buckus. He loves Buckus. Which, just like I told everybody, that dog's name is Buckus Stallone. Yep. No, the train drops punching 1,000 pounds. Some odd beast back district. Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely.
So Adrian brings Buckus to him to keep him company while he runs.
While he runs.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's neat. So
absolutely.
So he takes Buckus running with him, and he ends up back at the meat house.
Where the news people are that he doesn't even know about is going to be there.
Yep, because guess who invited him? Paulie.
Paulie's trying to make some money, man. Paulie's trying to make some. The rest of the movie, he's trying to make money.
Yep. The entire rest of the movie.
So he gets in there. Rocky's pissed, and this woman, I love when he's getting ready to punch you. She's like, "All right, where are you doing? A strange type of training." And Paulie's sitting right there. Hey, the meat guy's in there, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Hey, I'm in charge of the meat." And she's like, "Well, good. Can you stand behind it?"
Stand over here behind it.
And up back, you can see him peeking his head around. Yep. So he shows her what he's doing. He's beating on this meat, and it goes to Tony Duke watching it on TV. Go ahead and take.
Yeah. So Duke, yeah. So he's sitting there. He's watching the broadcast, right? And he starts seeing Rocky beating the meat, and he's hitting it freaking hard, dude. Like, and so Apollo's kind of behind him doing some paperwork and stuff. Apollo dresses real nice, suit, tie, the whole. He's very well dressed.
He probably has a sweat 6 months.
All that stuff. Not a care in the world kind of thing.
He's gotten very spoiled. He's got too successful and too rich.
Yeah, because he's the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. No one's ever beaten him.
And he's getting ready to fight a nobody. So
he's getting ready to fight a nobody. He's going to take him down, no problem, right?
Absolutely.
So Duke's sitting there watching this, and Duke's like, "Hey, champ, you need to come watch this guy. We may have a problem here."
Yeah.
But
it's like this guy means business. Oh yeah. I mean business, dude.
Yeah. Paulo just kind of blows him off. It's like, yeah, whatever. He's like, I'm gonna drop this chump. No problem.
Yeah.
So he's extremely cocky, which I mean, I understand because like I said, no one's even gone past the 9th round.
Right.
In 46 fights. Shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can see why he's cocky.
Absolutely, especially he thinks this is a throwaway fight. This is just a club fighter. This is nothing, man. This is way below the class he's used to fight. These are some things he doesn't know about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So then we cut to Christmas night, and drunk Paulie comes home. Oh, drunk Paulie.
We're in the middle of them talking about him, yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, in the middle of Rocky and Adrian kind of talking about what's going on with Paulie, and Rocky's like, I don't know what to do, with him, blah blah blah. So Paulie comes in, he gets a bat, he starts beating on the dresser with the bat, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm throwing you out the house. Get out the house," kind of thing. And it's this whole big thing. And yeah, it's just Paulie's such an ass.
He grabs a bat and breaks all kinds of shit, threatens to break both of Rocky's arms so he can't use them in the fight.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to where he's just crying. He's like, "You're supposed to be good to me. I put you guys together, and you're gonna throw a crumb for your friend Paulie. Like it's your meat every morning." He's just he's just a drunk man that is just feeling sorry for himself. Basically, is what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. But then everything kind of calms down.
She,
And
she
then
moves in with him though.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, Paulie was a mess. You're right, too, Betty. But then we cut to one of the most famous scenes in the movie, the training montage.
Yeah, here it is. Yep.
What can you say about the training montage that hasn't been said already? It's
Yeah, we're
it's
introduced to the Rocky team gonna fly now.
yep. Which which actually I have a story about that too. Apparently
Awesome.
Bill Conti brought that song to John Avildsen, and there was no lyrics, no nothing. It was just the music, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
and so John Avildsen says it sounds like Rocky's flying. So that's how it's got the Gonna Fly Now name from
Nice tribute, brother.
yeah,
Nice tribute.
yeah. Like I said, I'm full of nice useless information. So
Hey man, uh, we're all here for that information too, man.
that's right. That's
Whatever
right.
bullshit we can come up with, man, that the better.
For
Like
sure.
with like you know how many people actually know that Rocky's real name is actually Robert? You know what I mean? Most people don't know that shit.
No, that would be a good trivia question
Yeah.
because I bet
Robert
most people
Balboa
don't
is
know.
actually his name. And
Yeah,
his son is Robert Jr.
correct. Yeah, Rocky is his nickname. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So now we cut to after the training montage.
Yeah.
We cut to Rocky. He actually makes his way to the empty arena
The night before he can't sleep.
the
He's
night before
nervous
the
as
fight.
fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he actually sees Miles Jurgens there, the promoter, played by Thayer David, by the way. Who again trivia, for those that don't know who he is, um, he played Matthew in Dark Shadows.
Awesome. Yep. Yep. Yep.
In the pre Barnabas era, he was Matthew, the crazy groundskeeper.
Preach it, Alan. Preach it, man. Hell yeah.
And so Rocky notices that uh, the big picture of himself, he has the wrong color trunks on.
Yeah, that bothers him a lot, man. And that brings a lot to his mind. It really, because the response to that from Jurgens is, it doesn't really matter, does it? I'm sure you're going to give him a good show.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it clicks to Rocky. You know what I mean? It clicks to him. Damn, I don't think I got a chance to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing here? It makes him feel completely unimportant.
Yeah, because I mean it's a it shows him no respect.
Right? He's just a guy there. He's
He's
just
just
a
some
dude.
dude. It could have been anybody. He's just some dude. You know.
The reason he's there, the only reason he's there is because his name's the Italian Stallion, and he's a local Philadelphia guy.
Yep.
They could. He's interchangeable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which really
So
hurts him.
yeah. So he ends up going back home, and kind of wakes up Adrian as he gets in, and this is one of the most, I think, probably the most important scene in the movie, really.
Yes.
And he's sitting there, all his self doubt. He's telling Adrian, he's like, I can't beat him. I just can't do it. And then so Adrian's like, but you work so hard, all this stuff.
My idea.
And
Thanks for coming.
and Rocky's like, I was a nobody before. I'm going to be a nobody after, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, but no one's gone the distance with Creed. All I want to
Yep.
do is go the distance. That's all I want to do.
Yeah. For the first time in my life that I just want another bump in the neighborhood.
Exactly. And which is one of the most brilliant lines. I freaking love that line too.
That's all we want, isn't it? Is, you know what I mean? That one moment in the sun where we prove to everybody and to ourselves that we're better than what people think we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And another fun fact about this scene, John G. Avildsen actually was going to cut the scene completely. They didn't. He didn't even want to film it.
Right.
And it's like literally the most important scene in the movie. And so John Avildsen gave him one shot. He was like, I'm gonna give you one take. Whatever happens, happens. So the whole thing's one take, and that's the take
Really cool.
that's in the movie. Yep. And it's like the most important scene in the freaking movie.
You can tell that character of Rocky, man, it is like an alternate personality of Stallone. Rocky is Stallone's heart.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, if you was to see Stallone's heart, his soul, it would be Rocky. You know what I mean? Because actually, Stallone's a very, very intelligent man.
Extremely.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You would have to be intelligent and talented to play such a dumb person, man. I mean, Rocky's not the smartest guy around,
Mm-mm.
but his at the same time he is Rocky. You know what I mean? And no one else could have done it because he is him, and he means so much to him, and it made it mean so much to everybody. You know, especially in this country. I mean, other countries too, but he's Americana, man. He is what everybody strives to be, and wants to be and wants to accomplish. He lives that dream for all of us. You know?
Absolutely. All you need is that one shot.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah. That's why it was so successful. It was so well done. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It touches me inside, man. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's such a well acted scene too. Like it's like
the whole thing. Yeah.
Like both their reactions to one another is just, it's absolutely perfect. It's just, yeah, dude, it's just so good. And then now we cut to the big fights. The big fight. It's fight night.
Remind me of Rob Zombie. Well, thank you.
I can see that. I can see that.
It.
You just need to grow your hair out.
Dude, that was a long time ago. Don't even start talking about the hair because it's not happening right here. It's not happening. I'm looking at Hulk Hogan, brother. Let me show you something, brother. I need another cigarette, don't I? So we're coming to the fight.
Yep.
They show up there. Rocky's telling Adrian before he goes out, don't leave town. She's I'll be right here. Right before he goes out, don't leave town.
I always thought that was weird.
You're the patch on the back of his jacket. He flips his hood up. You know, it's a little baggy, and Mickey's like, "What's this back here?" And he's all that's just advertisement from the plant where Paulie works.
Yeah.
You know, we made a little business arrangement. You know, he said, "Well, what do you get?" He said, "Well, Paulie gets $3,000 and I get the rope." Mickey's like, "Ooh."
See, Paul is weaseling his way in there some kind of way.
He ended up getting the money too.
Yeah.
So a lot of them like, "What? Excuse me," because that looks fucking ridiculous on that road.
It certainly did.
It was so green and white on top of a yellow or red and yellow robe, or red and white. That one was red and white. Red and yellow was the second one on it.
Yeah. And he walks out in like this giant. I mean, it's so baggy on him. I mean, I don't know how big this damn thing was, but damn. Yeah.
Oh, so, he gets in the ring and and everybody's like, "Hey, whatever." Apollo comes out and he's fucking George Washington.
He comes out on a boat. He comes out on a freaking float boat.
Yeah.
Dressed as George freaking Washington. The wig, the whole deal, and he's throwing out money.
Then he gets the ring, takes that off, and wears his classic outfit with the vest, with the sleeves cut out, and the big tall ass hat.
All in the American flag.
I want you, chump.
I want you. That's right.
Part two, I love that little scene in part two that they have kind of like that. Of course, we'll get to that next time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh man, yeah. Apollo's so flashy and so arrogant and so larger than life. And then Rocky just walks out, just like a normal dude. Like no music, nothing.
Yeah, but then you see him fight, man. Apollo Creed looks like a boxer that would just beat your ass, man. This guy, it's like he should have been a boxer. He punches so fast and just, you know what I mean? He trained hard for that. Carl Weathers did. He did. And he had my vote.
Yeah.
Only Rocky could take what that dude dealt out.
Yeah.
Even when he's playing around.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, he's your classic boxer. Like he's a boxer's boxer.
And this is back for people that don't know it. This is back in a time when World Heavyweight Championship fights were 15 rounds. They weren't 12 like they are now. They were 15.
Yeah,
Yeah. At this time, that's why there's 15.
yeah, exactly. And man, the fight's something else.
Yes. Ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
See,
That's later, cause that's later, man.
ding, a ding. Oh yeah, yeah, yes, for Slay. He looks like a big Slay.
Yeah, and I think he even says, I wonder how much that cost.
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, first round, man, they're kind of going at it. They're kind of feeling each other out, and then Rocky ends up getting lucky and gets an uppercut.
almost. Yeah, that's not fake. Paulo was fucking knocked it silly, man. He got up looking all fucked up.
He did.
Like if Rocky would have went back to the corner when he was supposed to, like he was up there and he wouldn't go to the corner because he was so excited. Rocky would have won.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's actually a really interesting thing because, in boxing, when you get knocked down, you got to go to the neutral corner.
And Rocky was so excited that he didn't know. He was like,
yeah, he was just so excited. He was like, yeah. So the ref had to keep pushing him back. So the ref
wasted 4 seconds
count until like 10 seconds later. Yeah, and he ends up getting an 8 count.
That would have been quite embarrassing for Apollo, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Whew. You imagine if Rocky would have won right there? Whew.
Yeah. After that, Apollo stops messing around. Problem with it is he ain't trained right. He hasn't prepared right like Rocky had.
Right.
So it ends up going back and forth really good for those 15 rounds.
Man, dude, like it's a fantastic fight. And the thing is, when they were putting the fight together, initially they were just trying to do a fight, and it wasn't working. So
yeah, they had an expert in there telling them how they should do it, and Lucky and all them put their own together, and the guy ended up walking off because he was an old veteran guy that had done fights in maybe Raging Bull or one of them. He had done a couple of those old school fights. They didn't want it to be like that. Stallone didn't want it to be like those fights. Yeah. He wanted it to be, you know what I mean, just nailing each other, and you know what I mean. So this guy ended up walking off the set, and Stallone and Weathers and them just put it together.
Yeah. And so John Avildsen told Sylvester Stallone, all right, look, go home, write out the fight. Like, write it out. Like, write the punches, write it out, and we'll see what we got. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't want to go along with what this guy said, you think you got something better, get it together. He planned the whole thing out, every punch, planned the whole thing out.
Planned the whole thing out. Good. Now, and an interesting thing here, too, is that Burt Young, a.k.a. Paulie, was actually a boxer before this movie. He actually did have a few professional fights. I think he had about 15, 17 fights, something like that.
Very cool.
And so Sylvester Stallone went to him after he, initially wrote the fight out, and Burt Young actually gave him a couple of pointers, and so he kind of rewrote a little bit, and then that's basically what they ended up using for the fight.
Yeah. And it worked out really well. It actually changed how fights are done in movies, man. You know what I mean? Because you begin to expect that shit in Rocky. A Rocky movie fight is a motherfucking fight. You better have stamina. You better have your cardio together in a Rocky movie fight.
Indeed.
Because the only one that doesn't go the distance is the two Clubber Lang fights. Well, and the Drago Apollo fight. We'll get to that.
But you get to the last round at least.
Yeah.
But so the fight happens. We see 4 rounds. We see the first 2 rounds and the last 2 rounds. The other stuff is in like a little montage.
Right.
And so they're going at it, and the bell rings at the end of the 15th round.
Yeah.
And
he's just screaming.
They kind of collapse into each other. They kind of grab each other.
Yeah. Ain't gonna be no rematch. Don't want one.
Yeah. So So they're both exhausted, and they're like this is it. I'm not doing this again. I'm not
And
fighting you again, bro.
point wise, if this goes a distance, he hit Rocky so many times. Apollo's winning. You know what I mean? Because he outplayed him like crazy. I mean, it's probably 10-5 round wise. I mean, it was pretty much a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
But they split decisioned it. I'm not so sure it was that close point wise, but they split decisioned it, and Apollo won. And Rocky's just wanting Adrian, and Adrian's trying to push her way to him. She loses her hat, trying to get there.
Yeah.
And finally she gets there, and she's I love you, and he said I love you, and then that's the end of it.
Yeah.
It's just pandemonium going on in the ring. They finally found each other,
and the nice
and he
close
didn't care if
ups.
he lost.
Was that?
He didn't care if he lost.
No.
Yeah, because he won. He won in his opinion. He won what he wanted to do. He didn't go in there expecting to beat Apollo, even though he almost did.
Yeah. No. But he did what he wanted to. He went the distance, and he got his girl.
Yeah.
So I mean, life is amazing. Like it really cannot get any better now for Rocky at this point.
And there's not going to be no rematch.
And ain't going to be no rematch
until the next movie, which you're invited to do Rocky 2 if you want, man.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
I had a great time with this one, man. This was hella fun.
Yeah, dude. Rock. I have a very long history with Rocky.
Well, me too. It's one of my first memories.
Mine too. My grandpa and I used to sit and watch all the Rocky movies, all the time. My mom can attest to it. Everybody, like we just sit there and watch Rocky. Like, hey, what you want to do? I used to hang out with my grandpa when I was little, and he say, hey, what you want to do? Let's watch Rocky. So we always see a Rocky movie on.
You could tell we both watched the hell out of this movie.
Yeah, dude, we were both quoting. We were both quoting machines tonight.
Yeah, hell of a good time, man. It went a little better for me than I thought. I've done dives before, and I think this one went a lot different, man. You know what I mean? I got a lot of passion for this. Just like I think Rocky 2 is just as good as the first one.
Oh, I 100% agree. Like I said, I always go back and forth on which one I like more between 1 and 2. More times than not, I usually say 2, but I don't know. One's right up there, man. I don't know. They're both just amazing.
Thank you very much, Movie Chat and Lower Part 2. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. If Al's with it, next Monday night at the same time, we do Rocky 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can do it.
Cool. I'll go ahead and schedule it. And I hope to see all you guys there for Rocky 2. This has been a great time. We had a great time with you guys. I so much appreciate everybody showing up. And sharing our love for Rocky. Share it with us again next Monday. Hey, stick with me so I can talk to you for a minute before we leave here.
No problem.
Thanks to everybody for coming. I used to be GoreAphobe, but now I've evolved. I am now Sir GoreAphobe. And I am Sir GoreAphobe, and you guys are not. Much love.